Well, welcome everyone to the eSIM Summit that is titled How eSIM is Boosting Connected Industry. First of all, I would like to thank you for your time today. So before we start with the set of presentations that we have, I would like to thank IDEMIA, Valid, Core, and TIL for being the sponsor of these summers, because otherwise we will not be able to be here. And before we start, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Yolanda Sanz from GSMA. I manage the eSIM group that you may figure out what is this, but this is the group that has created the eSIM technology thanks to all the delegates that we have. So I am a technical person. Nevertheless, today I'm going to talk about some of the market trends that we have. It's not my favorite topic, but I know that most of you love it. So please, in the same line with the market trends, I would like to read out something that came out this week in the Economics Time, related to the eSIM, of course. The growing focus of the automakers on connected devices is expected to drive demand for embedded SIM by as much as 3 million units in the next 12-18 months. This increase in demand for eSIM is anticipated to boost enterprise business for telecom operators. Experts also predict that the adoption of eSIM in automobiles will quadruple the demand of semiconductor chips by 2025. And that's why we are here, just to understand how the eSIM is boosting connected industry device. As I already anticipate, I'm going to talk about some market trends that we have. The first on the top, and this is already very well known, Apple announced last year about this time that they are going to ship the first eSIM-only iPhones, which was iPhone 14. What does it mean? This means that this iPhone 14, doesn't have a SIM tray. That means that the removable SIM is not allowed to use. And definitely, this has an impact on the eSIM launches. Also, the second point to mention is the consumer awareness. So there are 30% of the consumers that they know what is the eSIM. It's still something very low compared to the awareness of the 5G, because we have 85% of the consumers that they know what 5G means compared to the eSIM. Now, the operators have started to talk about more eSIM. Between 2021 and 2022, the biggest awareness is coming from the operator. So the operator has started to talk about what is eSIM. It's true that there is no correlation between consumer awareness and the eSIM developers. For instance, in US and Canada, where they are the earliest adopters, all the MNOs and some MVNOs already offer eSIM. And however, still the eSIM awareness in those markets is very low. However, it seems that there is a correlation between the operators promoting the eSIM and the number of subscriptions. So the more the operators promote eSIM, most likely the customer is going to ask for an eSIM device. Of course, we cannot forget the IoT connected device. Of course, this is one of the main drivers that we have in the context of IoT. The last one, but not the least, of course, the GSMA is still working on the involvement of the eSIM specification, which also include the integrated UICC. The next slide is going to show you the position of the smartphones on the market based on the resources that we have from the GSMA intelligence. Between December 2020 and December 2022, the number of devices has been duplicated. Of course, the main top brands are already on board. We have Samsung, Google, and Apple that has already eSIM smartphones model. Last year, we have new entrants in the market, which is Xiaomi and Nokia. Those are also provide eSIM phones. And of course, if we look at the 5G, 60% of the eSIM smartphones support 5G technology already. If we see the smartphones from the global perspective, half of the world of the countries has already launched eSIM services. Of course, the one on the top is still US, followed by Canada and Europe. 4 new countries are also now ship eSIM devices, most of them from the South America. What's happening with China? China is still missing. Besides of the push for the UICC manufacturers and the number of operators that provide eSIM services in the context of wearables. Beyond the certification, regulation, and so on, we think that still China is going to take some time to have eSIM in the context of the smartphones. Let's talk about the operators. We have more than 340 operators that offer already eSIM services for the smartphones. Between December 2020 and December 2022, we have duplicated the number of operators that support eSIM service. So last recent months, we have more than 80 new operators that has joined to the eSIM technology. We are pretty comfortable to say that since the eSIM only launched by Apple, this has been increased the development of eSIM, particularly, of course, in the US market, but also globally. Then, if we look at the consumer interested in the eSIM, it's still very slow compared to other technologies, as I mentioned. So if we take into account the eSIM-only smartphones, only 30% of the customers are aware that this device has this functionality. Also, it's good to point out that 60% of the customer, they don't care about the eSIM. They don't know. It's just they want to have the devices connected, and that's enough. What already also says is that 80% of the customers seems to be keen to have eSIM only smartphones here in US. And the last one from my side is to look at the future. Here you have the forecast that is predicted until 2030, and it's expected that 1 billion of the eSIM connecting device will be by 2025. Also, we are expecting that 6 billion of devices will be shipped over the next 7 years. That means that 50% of the cellular devices shipped in 2028 will support eSIM. Additionally, of course, North America is going to be leading by far the eSIM technology, following, of course, by Europe. China, as soon as they come and support eSIM in the context of consumer devices, we are expecting that half a billion of eSIM smartphone connections are going to come from China.